Hey, vinyl community, we are here with you once again. The Four Horsemen of the VC, as somebody once called us. I'll take that compliment. So we have Aaron Mutha, Musically Obsessed. We have Chris Profi, Flipside Records. We got JC, Vinyl Destination. Whatever, you know us. You know us. We can dispense with all the
pleasantries.
Yeah. So we're here to talk today. Our topic is going to be 5 albums that we would recommend to anybody. And we've each limited our pick to 5. We're not going to do any honorable mentions. But what we're going to do is we're going to have 2 videos. This video, we're just going to strictly talk about the albums that we picked. And then we're going to post another video where we play short song samples from the albums that we picked. If you're interested in hearing more, if you've been intrigued by the description that we've given for our albums, you're welcome to check that video out as well. So welcome, gentlemen, once again. And if we want to, we're just going to start with our, we're not ranking them in any particular order. We're just picking 5 random ones. So we'll start with our first ones, and we're going to just talk a little bit about why we picked the album, maybe specific tracks that we like or would definitely recommend people check out. So Aaron, how about we start with you? Why don't you get into your first pick?
All right. Trying to decide which one to do first here. I'll start with my most common band, the band that's most known. And I'm going with Wheatfield Soul from
I love that album.
And you know it pretty well.
I love that album.
It's my favorite album by them, actually, and it's not as well known as their later work. But it was actually their 4th record, but it's the first one with Burton Cummings doing all the vocals. They had 3 albums with a different singer, and he was just a background, kind of shared the vocal duties. But yeah, this was released in 1969. And These Eyes, the song, went to number 7 in Canada, number 6 in the US. So it had some success, but this is like a psychedelic masterpiece. Song Friends of Mine has a lot of it sounds almost Doors, a Jim Morrison Doors quality to it with some psychedelia. And I thought you might know this one because of the song Lightfoot.
Yeah.
About Lightfoot, really good song. We're Coming to Dinner is amazing. The great ender there.
Aaron, does that have Undone on it?
What's that?
Does that have Undone?
No, These Eyes was really the only single from this.
Okay.
The most more psychedelic. Okay. And that's why I like this album so much. Pink Wine Sparkles in the Glass. It's one of the songs, really good song. I Found Her in a Star. But Friends of Mine is maybe my favorite Guess Who song. It's just a whole journey, and it's a crazy lyrics, and it's nothing like their other songs. It's just psychedelic, very Doors-ish, like I said. The lyrics and just how he's singing, and it's just amazing. And there's the vinyl. But I just love this record. Pretty weird. Their pictures are all 4 of them are the members of the band. Had Burton Cummings, Randy Bachman, Jim Cale, and Gary Peterson at this point.
Yeah, it's almost like Led Zeppelin 2, where you've got the 4 band members kind of, in with the other characters on the cover.
Well, it sort of has the Sgt. Pepper vibe to it too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about the Guess Who is that, and I didn't realize this until I started to get into them. Of course, everybody knows American Woman, which is a kick-ass song, but they have so many freaking albums and so many great songs that are even better than American Woman. And Burton Cummings, I know Aaron is a huge Burton Cummings fan. His voice is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
I love his voice.
He's one of my favorite singers of all time.
Yeah.
He can do everything, do the mellow ballad stuff, and do the hard rock and stuff, and he sounds equally good doing both styles.
I love his mustache too.
Yeah, I saw them live. I saw the Guess Who live about 10 years ago.
Did he still have his mustache?
He still does. Yeah.
I guess he was
That's fantastic.
That's the only reason I went, is because I'd never seen his mustache up close, and I thought, God, to be in the same vicinity, right. His mustache, would be great.
I remember I mean, him and Burt Reynolds. Must be
Yeah.
the name Burt.
Yeah,
Have the-
we really,
All
really.
right, so in the span of 3 minutes, this video has gone down the tube.
I think it's been elevated, to be personally
Yeah.
honest.
But no, like, and that was cool because Randy Bachman, they played some BTO stuff as well as Guess Who, because it was the original lineup that I saw. But yeah, very cool.
All right. Are you
Yeah,
familiar
that was a
with
good
this?
pick. Good pick.
All right. There we go.
All right, Chris.
Okay, well, like I was saying in the beginning, before we started, I feel like I always show the same albums. Like I always show Pink Floyd More, I show The Monkees Present, I show a Black Flag record, I show Johnny Cash, Hello, I'm Johnny Cash, Iron Butterfly Ball. So I'm like, all right, I got to pull out some different stuff here. So the first album I'm going to show you is still something that I'm still getting into and listening to, but what I've heard from it, I really, really like, and I think other people out there are going to like it as well. A band called Still Corners, and it's on the Sub Pop label. This came out in 2013, and I actually got this as a gift from Gregory Short. Gregory Short does VC videos every once in a while.
Great guy.
I think he was doing a contest or something or whatever, and I won this album. It's something that I probably never would have bought for myself because I don't think I've ever heard of Still Corners before. But what these guys are, they're considered dream pop. And pretty much what dream pop is sort of like if you like The Cure and if you like the Smiths, you're going to like the band Still Corners. This is a 2013 album called Strange Pleasures on Sub Pop. Now, Still Corners is two people. It's a guy named Greg Hughes. He plays a whole bunch of different instruments. And then a woman named Tessa Murray who does the vocals. Her vocals are beautiful. They're very ethereal, and the music has these electronic like backdrops to it. But as I listen to their songs, I definitely get a huge Cure vibe and a Smiths vibe. So I would definitely recommend this to you. And again, definitely not an expert on Still Corners, and this is an album that I'm still digesting, but it is really, really, really good. And a lot of people swear by the Sub Pop label as well. So I would definitely check this band out.
That sounds right up my alley.
Yeah, Still Corners is the band, and the album is Strange Pleasures. And like I said, it's a 2013 release, so it's fairly, because here's the thing. Most of us show albums from the 70s, right? So here's a 2013 release. Definitely, if any of those bands like The Cure or the Smiths are right up your alley, check these guys out. So.
Very, very cool.
Have you guys heard of this band before? Or?
No, but I'm going to listen to it as soon as this video is over.
Yeah,
And
really good stuff.
You have
Right, and like I said, Gregory Short, I love that guy, and I trust his opinion. And he's like, Chris, you're really gonna like this, and he was right. It's really good. But like I said, I'm still listening to it though. It's not an album like Dark Side of the Moon or something that I know like the back of my hand. I mean, this is an album that I'm still going to be listening to and enjoying. So,
Nice.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, very.
Cool. I'm going crazy tonight. I'm doing different stuff.
Nice.
That's what it's all about. We don't want to.
You thought I was going to pull out Black Flag My War, but
Yeah.
Well, so I picked I have an album from the 70s, an album from the 80s, an album from the 90s. I'm going to start with the oldest first. And this is probably the best hard rock album from the 70s that most people have not heard. And I swear by it. It is Ram Jam, Portrait of a Young Ram. Please
Cool.
do not let the album cover fool you. This is the same Ram Jam that did Black Betty. This is like the lost great Aerosmith record. It is hard rocking. Some people consider this to be one of the earliest predecessors of heavy metal. It not heavy metal like Slayer, heavy metal like Aerosmith, like Montrose. It's heavy. It kicks ass. You put this on, you're instantly in a good mood. I can tell you that. Don't be fooled by the cover, kids. Anyone young out there. So if I'm going to recommend two songs. The first two songs in this album really set the tone. The first one's called Gone Wild, and the second one's Pretty Poison. They're just amazing. This is the picture of the band. So yeah, same band that did Black Betty. They only made 2 albums. This is their second album. You can find this album on eBay or Discogs very cheap. Finding it in the wild is like almost impossible. And this copy probably cost me $10 and it's in pristine condition. So it's not an expensive record to find online, but it's a near impossible to find in the wild. So go check it out. It's amazing.
I've never seen it. Yeah.
No.
Josh, does that guy
We're
have
done
a
with this
must?
video. We'll listen to that song "Going Wild." It kicks ass.
Okay. Now, does that guy have a mullet and a mustache on the back? I am
Ready?
starting to get distracted.
There's
by
one
that
guy. One
part
guy
of it.
looks like
Yeah.
a pirate. There's the pirate
Okay.
dude right there. This guy's got the Journey scarf. You know, like I mean, they're definitely. I know everybody knows the song Black Betty, but
Mhm.
this is more in the line of Aerosmith. That's why I'll say it. Like Aerosmith rocks era Aerosmith.
Cool. I have that
I love
other
that
record.
album cover though.
It's a crazy album cover. I'm sure it turns some
Yeah.
people off.
I love
I
it though.
Yeah, I mean, it's killer. And I swear to you guys, after you hear the song Going Wild, you're gonna go find this album.
I'm gonna go buy it tomorrow.
It's killer.
It's actually already ordered.
I wasn't even listening to what you were saying. I was just ordering on Discogs.
All right. Well, my first pick, I'm gonna go with Bryan Adams' "Reckless."
Yes.
No.
Thompson twins. Thompson twins.
I love that album, Reckless.
It's
Great
Not a
album.
bad album. I don't know that I'd recommend it to anybody, but I mean, "Run for You," "Summer of '69."
Yes.
You got a duet with Tina Turner, but we're not here to talk about that album. All right, I don't need to sell anybody on that one. Okay, so first album I picked is by a band called Eels. I don't know if you've heard of them, but this is actually a double album. It's called "Blinking Lights and Other Revelations." And the songwriting on here, and this is, I've heard other Eels albums. They don't sound anything like this. Like, this is such a brilliant album. The songwriting on here, there are songs here that are just so incredibly profound. And there's a song on here, the song that I'm going to play a sample of when we do that video. The title of the song is "I'm Going to Stop Pretending That I Didn't Break Your Heart." And it's about somebody who is finally coming to terms with the fact that, yeah, you know what, when I broke up with you, I totally treated you like garbage. And now I'm feeling regret about it. I don't even know where you are anymore. And so I can't even like apologize. I mean, it's like songs like that where it's like, oh my God, and I connected to that song in a different way, in a personal way for me. But it's just listening to that, it's like, oh my God, and it's so like, it's so raw, and you can tell like, God, this totally happened to him. There's another song called "The Last Time We Spoke," about somebody, the last conversation they had with somebody before they committed suicide. And just the whole idea of like, I knew when we hung up from that conversation, something bad was going to happen. It's just ruminating, but it's got, it's almost like an autobiographical double album where he talks about from birth and the fact that, his parents didn't want him. And then he goes through, he's growing up and all these emotions, all these life experiences that we all go through. And it's a double album, but it's one of those double albums. It doesn't feel like a double album. You listen to it and it's got so many different melodies. I mean, and they're all all songs that will stick with you. They all sound differently, but they've all got a hook. It's definitely power pop, but it's also got elements of so many different genres of music. And I think it's brilliant. It came out in, I think, I can't read. I think it's like the probably early 2000s, but fantastic album. There was a song called "Trouble with Dreams" that might have been on the radio, like if you had a cool alternative station, but definitely an album worth checking out and just fantastic. I can't say enough about it, from both the songs that are so catchy and just the raw emotion of the lyrics. It's just so profound and so amazing and touching at the same.
Do any of the members have mustaches?
Unfortunately, no. And actually, it's one guy, and I can't think of his name. It's really one guy. It's kind of like Nine Inch Nails is basically Trent Reznor. Eels is basically one guy, and I apologize, I can't think of his name, but he does not have a mustache. He's full beard now. I checked recently. He hasn't shaved the beard and kept the mustache or anything. It's just, full on facial hair thing. But
so a lot of the topics that they cover sound a lot of like the topics that are covered in Bryan Adams' Reckless.
yeah, exactly. But
Suicide and
he's so great with a metaphor too, which I
Mark.
Kids Gotta Rock. Kids Gotta Rock. I mean, that, like, for me, whenever I put that on, I get goosebumps when I listen to it, and I just want to go driving somewhere and,
right.
Now,
if anybody doesn't see me on the next video that everybody gets together on, it's because these guys have kicked me off of the video. Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Jeff, the guy's name is Mark Oliver Everett. So,
yes, thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yes.
So, but no, definitely Eels. They're still putting out albums, but I recommend that one above all others.
Cool. Yeah, I've heard of them before.
What year was that?
What year? I think, like, if I had to guess, I think it's probably like 2004.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
what's the name of it?
We're gonna check.
It's called Blinking Lights and Other Revelations.
Okay, that album came out in 2005. You are good.
Oh, very close.
Almost, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I was 15 at the time, so,
Nice.
So I'm going to move from the 60s to the 70s. Then I got, let's see, one from the 90s and two from the 2000s. So I'll go from the 70s. And this here is such an underrated record. And it's this here. I don't know if you're familiar with this. This is Walter Egan, Not Shy. This is an amazing record. It's one of the best power pop records of all time. It's from 1978. And Lindsey Buckingham produced it. And he also does guitar, background vocals on it. Stevie Nicks does background vocals on 3/4 of the songs. And Mick Fleetwood does drums on 2 songs. But the big hit from this was called Magnet and Steel.
yes. I know. It was like, oh, what's the song? I know a song.
Magnet Steel, and Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham do the background vocals. And it's 78, so it's right after Rumors. But this guy is an amazing guitarist, and it's just such a good energy. Lots of great energy in it. The first song, Sweet South Breeze, almost is a rockabilly song, but just a lot of energy. And then it goes into Magnet and Steel, the big hit. But my favorite thing on here is called Make It Alone. That is one of the best hard rock songs of the 70s. It is so good. It's an actual hard rock almost. It reminds me a lot of Aldo Nova, actually. Just that energy and just really killer. It's stuck in my head still. I've been listening to it over and over. And then there's a song called I Want It, another great rocker. And it's just, it has Fleetwood Mac written all over it. It kind of reminds me of, I wrote this down so I'd remember, kind of like a mixture of, like, if you take the Cars, Fleetwood Mac, a little bit of Greg Kihn, meld them all together, throw in this touch of the Beach Boys. But he does all the lead guitar, the singing, but they just kind of are in the background of the Fleetwood Mac players. And it just adds an element. And this album is so catchy. It's one of my favorite power pop records ever. It's just an amazing, amazing record. I love it. That song, Make It Alone, that's just one of the best hard rock. And it's not like heavy metal, but it's a good hard rock, like Aldo Nova-ish type. And
Was he in any other bands? Was he in another band?
He did like 4 or 5 solo records, Walter Egan.
He was in the Beatles.
Yeah, well, yeah, he fits right next to and no mustache, unfortunately.
Yeah, no.
But there he is on the back. And this kind of gives the feel of the record, kind of like a California, you know, just out in the sun, good time feel record. It's just really good. Song called Just the Wanting with Stevie Nicks on the background vocals, and that's just so killer. The Blonde and the Blue T-Bird, another really good song. Star in the Dust, which has Stevie Nicks and Mick Fleetwood on it, and you know, it's right after Rumors, so that's kind of weird, but it's an excellent record, and I'd love to play something from this just so you could hear it in a little bit.
Very cool.
That Make It Alone song, I'm telling you, just that guitar riff, it's just so killer.
He looks like
And
he's 12 years old on the cover, though.
Yeah, this is actually a second record. It's called Not Shy, and that's from the
Okay.
Magnet Steel lyrics. Stevie Nicks singing, you know, I'm not too shy to show you how I feel. So that's actually from the lyrics of that song.
Well,
And
that was actually, I think that was going to be the cover of Scorpion's Virgin Killer.
yeah, they just took it out. They cut it off of the head though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this, and don't let the cover fool you. It's a really good record.
If that
Don't
dude
let
had a
this cover
mustache,
fool
he
you.
sold $1 billion.
Don't let this cover
What's that?
fool you. I said, don't let this cover fool you either.
Yeah. But what'd you say, Josh?
I said if that dude had a mustache, that I would have sold 1 billion copies.
No, this is just. I was afraid someone else was going to pick this. Actually,
No,
I-
nobody.
That's
did.
that song, Magnets and Steel, though. That is a great song. It almost could be on a Fleetwood Mac album.
yeah,
It's
yeah, it's
similar.
great. This whole album is just really good. Amazing, and some of them are hard rocking, some are kind of laid back, some are almost rockabilly, and it's just a power pop masterpiece. I think.
How many
What's that?
albums does he have?
I think he had 4 solo records. This was the second.
Nice.
Yeah, 1978. So there's my second.
All right. Whose turn is it?
Yours.
All right. Well, I gotta pull an SST band out here. And I'm going next. And this, I love the cover of this album, first of all. This is called, obviously, Cry for Happy. It came out in 1988. It's Angst's fourth full-length album. Full-length. I've only had one beer. Full-length album on the SST label. Now, Angst probably could fall under the category of punk, but they're really not a punk band. They're more like alternative. I would say if you are into REM, early REM, you should definitely check out Angst. They have a lot of albums. They're led by the brothers Joseph Pope and John E. Risk. They started out in Boulder, Colorado. And like I said, just really, really, really good alternative music, kind of with a punk edge to it. But I mean, they mix a little bit of country, they mix a little Americana, they mix a little alt rock in there. So definitely a cool band to check out. And that was what was really cool about the SST label, is that you had Black Flag, who was just, you know, we know Black Flag, and the Minutemen, who were doing more of like the funk thing. And then you had bands like Angst and Slovenly, who were doing more like the alternative thing. I would check out, I love the song The Weather's Fine, which is the second song. And I love the last tune, My Dinner with Debbie. Just really, really good stuff. And again, it's on the SST label, but it's not as hard as like a Black Flag or something like that. I mean, you could put this on and the date you had in the house would not leave. It's really good stuff. So I would definitely suggest Angst.
Cool.
Yeah, I can't wait to check it out.
Yeah.
It's
You
an
had me
amazing.
early REM.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's what made the SST label so incredible. I mean, you had the Bad Brains on there, who were doing the whole reggae thing, and then you had Sonic Youth, Screaming Trees, Black Flag, Minutemen, all those bands, and then these sort of like Angst kind of falls into that next category of bands that a lot of people haven't heard of, but they're still so good. So yeah, definitely check them out. That's my favorite Angst album, by the way, Cry for Happy.
Mhm.
How many do they have?
4 or 5, I want to say.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
You can still get them for pretty, like on Discogs, you can pick the albums up for like, $8 or whatever. They're still and sealed as well. They're not going for too much. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
So my next choice is from the 80s, late 80s. It was inspired by a subscriber because I have two subscribers that are in their early 20s or late teens that are getting into 80s music. And so they reached out to me and I recommended some things like the first Skid Row record, and they really loved it. And I'm trying to give them albums that they can physically find because as we know, some of these albums are really hard to find. And this album I feel is a masterpiece. I almost went with the album before this, but I'm going to go with this one, and it's the Cult Sonic Temple. So for those of you that don't know the Cult, they were primed for superstardom. Their album before this, Electric, which is fantastic, was produced by Rick Rubin. They had Bob Rock produce this one. So for those of you that are young, those were two of the biggest producers in the late 80s. And so the record companies were doing everything in their power to make sure these guys reached the level of stardom that they should have reached. The thing that really hurt their career was their infighting. Does anybody know what the Kiss connection is on this? They credit Eric Singer. They don't say what song he plays on, but they credit him. They don't have a drummer. And Matt Storm was their drummer on this tour. But if you read inside, they say very special thanks to Eric Singer. So Eric Singer played on this album, but no one knows what songs. Now, this is the most common of all the albums I picked, but I just think it's fantastic. Sun King, Fire Woman, American Horse, Eddie, Chow Baby, Sweet Soul Sister. This album starts off with an avalanche of absolutely amazing songs. Like those 5 songs, any band would love to have in their catalog. And when this album came out, Fire Woman was all over MTV. So for those of you that don't know 80s music, and you want to get a band that is hard rocking, in the vein of like Aerosmith, Classic Stones, this is a great album. You can find this album. That's why I didn't pick Electric. Electric is a lot harder to find. This is the reissue, which sounds fantastic. They put it on double vinyl, so there's no compression whatsoever. It's easily found. I think I found it at my local record shop for like $25, where Electric is out of print and probably costs you like $40 or $50. So that's why I went Sonic Temple. I don't know if you guys listen to this album or if you like this album.
I love the Cult. Every time I hear the Cult, I'm like, they should have been huge. They had all the elements to be a huge band.
Well, Fire One was one of the most played songs on MTV when it was out. I mean, you couldn't get away. Every hour they were playing Fire Woman on there. It was just, it was on constantly.
They were like a hard rock version of the Doors.
Ian Astbury is a great singer too.
Yeah,
He is. He's very self-destructive, though. He's done some stupid things in terms of his career, but he actually played with the Doors. He did a tour as the lead singer of the Doors. Ian Astbury did.
Now,
When I heard he tried to, he auditioned for the role of Jim Morrison in that Oliver Stone movie before it went to, I can't think of his name now, Val Kilmer.
Nice. Now, the Cult's earlier albums, they weren't as heavy though, right? They were
No,
so
but still good. Before Electric's very heavy. That's one produced by Rick Rubin. And album Love. Before that was killer.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, they had the album with the Indian boy on it, and they actually got sued for millions of dollars for that. Yeah, Love, there. That's a great one. And you know what's funny is a lot of the subscribers that reach out to me, they know the Poisons, they know the big ones, Motley Crue, but you mentioned the Cult, and a lot of them don't even know who it is. And sad because they were super talented, and they just kind of get glossed over, and nobody knows. Well, not nobody, but the younger generation really doesn't know that band.
such a great band.
Yeah,
Great.
Yep.
They're the type of music you put on, and if people don't know who it is, they'll be like, "Oh my God, who is this?" Because it's captivating music. It's really good.
Yeah, go listen to that song "Chow Baby" and "Sweet Soul Sister." Amazing, amazing, amazing songs. They should have been like top 5 hits. They were just great rock songs.
I wonder why they were.
Well, it was
The Fire One was a huge hit, but it's a great song. That song,
I still enjoy it. I heard it, even though I heard it every hour on MTV.
exactly.
I still like it.
Yeah. All right, man.
All right. Well, my next one is It's called No Jacket Required. It's by Collins. No. I'm gonna go with I don't know if you can tell this.
Oh, is that the Jayhawks?
The Jayhawks.
White Album.
Yes,
Yeah.
the Jayhawks.
The Jayhawks, Rainy Day Music.
That's a great album.
Yo,
I'm
great
going
album.
Yeah, I think it's got Beatle harmonies circa Hard Day's Night, circa Beatles for Sale. Think of I Don't Want to Spoil the Party, Words of Love. Great harmonies, great melodies. Definitely Americana, alternative rock. Just so fantastic. The harmonies alone are worth owning this album for. But it's got so many songs on here. It's almost a double album, but it's really fantastic. Stumbling Through the Dark is a great track. The song Madman feels like a Fleetwood Mac song. You know, that's another. Jayhawks sounded a lot of their stuff sounds like, you know, early 70s Fleetwood Mac. But it's power pop, but it's jangly. Like you got elements of early 60s pop in there, little bits of folk, but it's just a fantastic album. And the Jayhawks are still out putting out music, but for me, this is probably my favorite album that they ever put out. They've had some lineup changes and whatnot, but yeah, I love this. It's just a picture of a flower. It's a white cover with a flower on the background, but yeah, it's a great album. And yeah.
What was the album with like Town Hall or something like that? It was
Hollywood Town Hall.
Hollywood Town
yeah,
Hall.
because I think that was a pretty popular one for them as well, right?
And Tomorrow
Yeah.
the Green Grass. Those three albums, Hollywood Town Hall, Rainy Day Music, and Tomorrow the Green Grass are three fantastic albums. And Jeff, I love the song. I was looking it up because I don't want to mess it up, but Will I See You in Heaven? Yeah, those albums are fantastic.
Yeah.
And I think Rick Rubin produced some of those albums too.
Mhm.
I think it was on the Deaf American label.
Yep.
Heard them.
Yeah, if you've not checked out the Jayhawks yet, do yourself a favor. Start with this one. Or, I mean, you can't go wrong with Hollywood Town Hall or Tomorrow the Green Grass or even Smile. Is another great one, too, in there. So,
Are they from Kansas?
might be.
I do think they are from Kansas.
Yeah.
Their vinyls are hard to find. Rainy Day Music is a double vinyl with extra tracks too. I used to own it back in the day. I got to find it again.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really want to change one of my picks now.
Go for it.
I'll be right back.
Aaron's next anyways.
Am I up?
Yeah.
All right.
You're up.
So this album came out in, where am I at? Okay, 1992. They're a hard rock band from Ireland, and it's called My Little Funhouse. I don't know if anyone's familiar with this.
No, it looks cool.
No. Yeah, they're a great band. It's kind of Guns N' Roses kind of took them under their wing at this point, and they actually appeared in the video for November Rain, probably in the wedding somewhere, or there might have been the band playing there. But they're very blues rock. They've got some high tempo, and then they have these great ballady stuff. Like Rain Town is just an amazing song. It just I get chills every time I hear Rain Town. But yeah, it was came out in 1992. And Geffen actually, it's on Geffen, and they signed them to the biggest deal of any band at this time, a $2 million record deal. And they'd signed Nirvana, I think, at the same time for like 60,000. So they were trying to really pump these guys up. They went on tour for Guns N' Roses over in Europe, like opening for them for a while. And this is me and my friends used to listen to this so much partying. There's a song called LSD. There's a hidden song on here, which is one of the best. That's called You Blew It. And it's amazing. I Want Some of That and Destiny were videos. Wishing Well. Have a song called Catholic Boy that's really good. Been Too Long. But the track that I would recommend the most is Rain Town. It's just an amazing, just his vocals. He has a very unique vocal style, and it's just an amazing song. And yeah, they're from Ireland. And I remember when this came out and they played a clip of one of their songs on Headbangers Ball. Didn't even play it. They were just like, had some guy in there talking about it. And I went and bought it. And then all my friends bought it. And we played this so much partying. You wouldn't even believe how much we played this album. It's really good. Even all the girls liked it. All the guys liked it. It's heavy enough for the guys to like. But it's got stuff like Raintown and Anonymous and Wishing Well. And it's just an amazing unknown record. And they could have been huge if I don't know what happened. It's just, it came out in 92. If it would have been a couple of years earlier, they would have been giant.
So is that record really hard to find?
It's pretty hard to find, yeah.
I already downloaded it, but I'm gonna go search for the record. You sold me on it, man. You sold me on it.
I know Josh. He's gonna text us tomorrow. He's gonna be like, "I got that record."
Exactly.
I know you, Josh.
Yeah.
Wait, he's already got it now. He's actually in his collection.
Hold on.
So
This came in today.
Yes.
Oh man, awesome.
I still have my cassette from when that came out. I love that album.
Great album.
But yeah, I want some of that and Raintown. That'll give you a good mix of their kind of sounds. If you just hear those two songs first, you'll get a good idea of what they are. And amazing band. And that's a pretty cool cover too.
Love it. And I missed the beginning because I was looking through my records. Who did you say they sounded like somebody, or they had a what would you say they sound like?
They kind of have, the singer is kind of unique, kind of has his own unique sound, kind of a bluesy hard rock. It'd be more hard rock than metal, but it's just, I'll play you a clip later.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, they're really killer. They're really good.
All right. Well, I'm pulling an Aaron. I have a 3A and a 3B because here's the thing. Like, this was my 3A, and don't laugh. I was going to show, I'm serious too. Carole King's Rhymes and Reasons. And here's why. I love Carole King. And here's my thought process. Everybody goes to Tapestry.
Mm-hmm.
Great album. Rhymes and Reasons is as good. This came out in 1972. Really good stuff. The piano is prominent. I love the jazzy textures. But then I'm thinking, all right, well, everybody knows Carole King. So that was my 3A. That's what I was going to show. And now this is my 3B. This is Bill Callahan. This is a 2020 album called Gold Record. Now, remember that first album I showed? This is another album that I'm starting to just get into, but I like what I've heard from it. I literally walked into the record store a few months ago, and the guy's like, "Have you ever heard that?" Actually, they were playing it over the loudspeaker or whatever. And I'm like, "Who is that?" Because this guy has such a deep voice. And he sounds a lot like Leonard Cohen. So if you like Leonard Cohen, you're going to like Bill Callahan. Now, here's what's cool about this album. It's called Gold Record, came out in 2020. He opens up by saying, "Hello, I'm Johnny Cash." That's the first thing he says before the album starts. So right when he said that, I'm like, oh, this guy is cool. And he just has this sort of like his lyrics. They're just very sparse arrangements, very singer-songwriter. Funny lyrics, but dark lyrics. Like I said, I get a big Leonard Cohen vibe. He's got a really deep voice. I love his humor. I love the sparseness of it. He was in another band, and I can't remember the name of the band, but he's got other records as well. But definitely check out Bill Callahan, Gold Record, if you're into Leonard Cohen, Johnny Cash, sparse singer-songwriter type stuff. So I thought that this was a cooler pick than Carole King. Even though I like Carole King a lot.
I remember when he showed the first time and talked about the Johnny Cash thing.
Yeah. Have you guys ever heard Bill Callahan?
I'm downloading it right now.
Really. And I'm telling you, he right off the bat goes, "Hello, I'm Johnny Cash." And I almost lost it when he said that. But, I remember I think you were talking about Tom Waits at one point, Josh.
Yeah, he's my favorite.
He reminds me a lot of Tom Waits as well.
All right, man.
If anybody's into Tom Waits, Leonard Cohen, you're going to dig Bill Callahan. Yeah, really, really good stuff. I love the cover of this album, too. It reminds me of a Music on Vinyl. It's very shiny. But this is on the Drag City label, I want to say. And that's what the vinyl looks like.
Awesome.
Looks like he just wrote it on there. But I believe it comes, it comes with an inner with lyrics and stuff. So
I wonder if there's a limited edition actual gold record version of it you can get.
I don't know. But yeah, this is what, and here's the thing. This is for the young kids out there. Because I can say this now, I'm 46 years old. You got to go to the freaking record store. You can't just go on, and there's nothing wrong with going on Amazon. There's nothing wrong with listening to things on Spotify. I'm not saying that, but I probably would not have bought this album unless the guy at the record store told me that I should buy it. And you just learn stuff by talking to people. That's what's great about going to a record store. One of the things that's great about going to a record store. So yeah, again, I would not have known about this album probably if I didn't go there. So yeah, if anybody out there, check it out. I think you'll like it. So.
Cool.
All right. Well,
And Carole King too.
And Carole King.
Yeah.
I've never heard that Carole King.
It's really good.
Yeah, I'll go check it out.
Does she say I'm Johnny Cash at the beginning?
No, but Carole King kills me though, man. Her songs, oh my God, she's just great. That's going to be our next video, Carole King.
Sounds good.
We'll have like one viewer.
All right.
I'll have one comment.
Yeah.
So my next one's from the 90s, and it's the singer of one of my favorite bands, Social Distortion. I have a Social Distortion tattoo, and it's Mike Ness. Now this is a first press, which is very hard to find, but Craft Recordings, who's a great record label, has reissued the Mike Ness stuff. So if you're familiar with Social Distortion, you know that's rockabilly punk rock, but this is just Mike Ness. He plays with Bruce Springsteen on here. He plays with Brian Setzer from the Stray Cats. He starts off with a song, The Devil and Miss Jones. Kids, if you're under 18, do not Google The Devil and Miss Jones. You don't want to know what that's about. Maybe you do want to know what it's about, but anyone born in the 70s knows what that's about. Don't Think Twice is the Bob Dylan song. I play this for my father. I'm a huge Bob Dylan fan. My father's enormous Bob Dylan fan. And my father's like, I think his version is better than Bob Dylan.
Wow.
That coming from a huge Bob Dylan fan is huge. Misery Loves Company is the one that he does with Bruce Springsteen. Crime Don't Pay is the one he does with Brian Setzer. It's just a fantastic album. It stretches from Hank Williams Sr., not Jr., type of country to rockabilly to straight out rock and roll. Like I said, the first pressing is extremely hard to find. I've had this for when I sold my record collection. This is one I didn't sell because my best friend gave it to me. I didn't sell any records I got as a gift. But you can see it looks fantastic there. His cowboy hat. But you can go out and get this, like I said, from Craft Recordings, and it sounds great. I've heard. I totally recommend it. Mike Ness. Have you guys ever listened to Social D or Mike Ness?
I love Social Distortion. I haven't listened to his solo stuff. What I like about Social Distortion is they cover Johnny Cash tunes. They do Ring of Fire.
Yep.
And yeah.
Long Black Veil. He does a Johnny Cash tune on this too. And he has 2 albums. The other solo album by Mike Ness is all cover songs. But this is the one I recommend because it does have some originals. Yeah, it's great.
I might need to get that.
It's awesome.
Cool. Geez, I see a bunch of records I need to get now.
I know. I'm downloading them as you guys are telling me.
I'm really, and this is what I think. Yeah, and Aaron was mentioning this before. I would love to know all of our thoughts on these other records we haven't heard. You know what I mean? I think that'd be cool.
On everybody else's, yes.
Yeah.
I think we should do that as a video.
I think so too.
All right. Well, my next one is an artist. His name is, it's another white cover. John Davis is the name. He used to be in a band, which I'd never heard of either, called Super Drag. And apparently he was an alcoholic, and he ended up recovering and also found religion. And so this is probably the only like Christian type album in my collection. Not that I'm not Christian or anything like that, but just this is, for all intents and purposes, this guy channels Dennis Wilson circa the 1970s. Like if you like the late 70s Beach Boys albums, like if you like the stuff he does on the Light album, you know, any of Dennis Wilson's 70s stuff. This guy sounds so much like Dennis Wilson. This really, if Dennis Wilson had recorded a second solo album, this is what it would have sounded like. And strangely, it also sounds like John Lennon Plastic Ono Band also. So it's got elements of late 70s Beach Boys, but also kind of like John Lennon's early raw solo stuff. And it's just really fantastic. He has such a voice, and it's heavy, and then it's light, it's spiritual, but then, you know, it's very, you know, kind of down to earth and secular. It's really a great, great album. Nobody's ever heard of him before. This was an album that somebody gave me, you know, sent to me saying, you got to check this out. This is fantastic. Just knowing I was into the Beach Boys and I was into, you know, John Lennon and all that, but it's just a fantastic album. It's definitely power pop. If you like power pop, if you like strong melodies, but it's heavy in spots, but it's also just beautiful. His voice is beautiful. The harmonies are fantastic. I think he's still putting out albums, but this is the only one that I have, but it's only available on CD. It's not available on vinyl, but just a great, great album.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Killer. All right.
Does he
Go
have a
ahead.
mustache?
No, he doesn't. He's got long hair though.
My next album, the guy has a mustache. You'll get excited.
How long can we go with this mustache joke? That's,
I think till the end of the video, till
all right.
nobody's watching anymore.
We're all still laughing at it. So, you know.
Well, there's somebody out there watching who's like, you do one more mustache, totally turning this video off.
There's a heavy duty mustache coming up, guys.
And it's a Tori Amos album.
Yeah. Strange Little Girls.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, Aaron.
Oh, there you're good.
I do love me some Tori Amos. I'm gonna throw
I
it
do
out there.
too. I do too. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Yeah. Under the Pink. That album kills
Yeah,
me.
it's a great one. Saw her in concert 3 times. My friend was
Nice.
obsessed with her. Kept dragging me. And I was like, man, this girl's good.
Yeah, she is. She's talented.
All right. My next
All right.
record's from 2016.
Is
And
it
it's the
Tori?
first yeah, it's Tori. It's the first album this band had done in 19 years. And I believe it's their best album. It's in 2015, they did a thing, a GoFundMe thing to get the record put out. And in less than a month, they had the money to record the record. And they put this amazing album out. This is Ugly Kid Joe, uglier than they used to be.
Wow.
And yeah, it's an amazing record. It has 3 of the original members, but at this point, they're actually a 7-piece. So it's kind of crazy. And this is I'll show you the cover first. It's pretty cool. Got this crazy cover here.
That's
And then,
amazing.
yeah, and the vinyl is pretty cool. It's this green.
Nice.
But I've said before, this contains the song that should be the theme song for the VC. It's amazing. It's called Let the Record Play. And I think I've talked about it before. Great, great song, but this whole thing is amazing. It's just, if you know Ugly Kid Joe at all, this is a little bit heavier, but it's also a little mellower. I mean, it's got Phil Campbell does guest guitar work on it. They do a cover of Ace of Spades, and he plays guitar. He also
Nice.
plays guitar on Under the Bottom, and what's the other one? Maybe The Enemy. But it's just an amazing record. Hell Ain't Hard to Find. Almost has a Foo Fighters type sound to it. Mirror of the Man, an amazing song. My Old Man, Nothing Ever Changes. This song, I mean, this album just blows me away every time I hear it. It's I really love their first EP a lot, and I like their other albums, but this is my favorite thing they've ever done. And
What was their big hit again?
Everything About You.
Yeah. That was a great song.
And they also did a song called Neighbor that was a pretty big hit.
Right.
And they did Cats in the Cradle
Oh, yeah.
remake. But this singer, Whitfield Crane, is so good, and he sounds just as good, if not better, on this. And it's just amazing, hard rocking metal, but it's also got mellower moments. But when it's heavy, it rocks hard. And that song, Let the Record Play, it's put the needle down and let the record play is the chorus. It's just so cool. It should be the theme song of the DC, I'm telling you. And there's the inside of it.
That's awesome because it's kind of like Live After Death.
Yep.
Now, Aaron,
Purpose.
is that album out of print or is it still in print?
No, it's still in print. It's only like 4 years old. So
I'm going to get it.
Yeah, it's really good.
No,
And,
I was telling Aaron.
Huh?
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I was telling you, I think the other day that I saw Anthrax on the Volume 8 tour and Life of Agony opened up and the singer had quit right before the tour. So Whitfield Crane sang for Life of Agony on that
That's
tour.
cool. Yeah. And this album just
When you pulled that out at first, I thought it was a soundtrack to the Garbage Pail Kids movie.
yes, and this is the and see, this is their original cover. Their first CD was this, so it's kind of they kept that same theme going. But yes, that is definitely a Live After Death parody in here.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's an amazing, amazing record.
Josh will have all these albums by tomorrow, I guarantee.
Yeah, I'm Googling it, but I can't find it on, so I have to go to my
Maybe
local.
maybe you can't find it. I got it right when it came out, so I'm not sure. I haven't looked since I already have it.
I'm going to download it at least, but I'll try to find it.
All right, so listen, I'm going to bring some class to this discussion here. You know, nobody's showed any jazz records yet. You know, you're not cool. Your collection's not cool unless you've got some jazz in it, all right? And I'm just kidding. I say that sarcastically.
Yes.
The Phantom. This album, I heard it. It was recommended to me, and I'm not a jazz expert. That was just a joke of mine. This was recommended by Bill over at Vinylverse. I think he showed it. And I was like, okay, I got to go check this out. So I listened to some samples on Spotify, fell in love with the first tune. This came out in 1968. Duke Pearson is a pianist. This is his 12th album. I mean, this guy is prolific. The first song, The Phantom, they just lock into this jazz groove. It's so killer. And it reminds me, like, if you like Miles Davis' Bitches Brew, you're gonna love that, at least that first song, The Phantom. It's so, so good. There's the cymbals in it. They literally sound like crashing waves. It's the coolest sound. But there's other soundscapes on here as well. Blues for Alvina is literally a blues tune. It's really good. And then they've got a song called, I don't know how you pronounce this, Bunda Amarela, I think. I don't know. I'm probably butchering that. But that's got a Latin feel to it. And I want to call out the flute player in this band because he's just all over these songs. And a lot of times we don't think like flute unless we're talking about Jethro Tull. But this guy on flute, he's killing it. His name is Jerry Dogian, I want to say. Really, really good flute. And you don't hear a lot of flute in jazz albums, but it's very prominent in this recording. So anybody out there, and again, I'm not a jazz expert, but I know I like Miles Davis a lot. I know I like Chick Corea. I know I like Weather Report and some other jazz as well. So this is coming from a guy who is not really like a jazz expert, but I really, really dig this record. And if you are into 70s Miles, or like, well, Bitches Brew came out in 69, I want to say maybe. So if you're into like late 60s, early 70s jazz, you would definitely dig Duke Pearson, The Phantom. And I think, Josh, you've shown this before, right?
Yeah, I bought it based on your video. I watched your video.
Oh, so wow, I inspired you to buy it. Cool.
You inspired me, and it's fantastic. It's such
so
a great album. And yeah, I would recommend that to anyone, even if you're not a jazz fan. You're absolutely right. It's just such a killer album. And it's an audiophile pressing on the Tone Poet series.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, I just want to say what I said in the beginning was a joke. I am not a jazz purist. Listen, folks, I have the Thompson Twins in my collection. I have the Monkees. I have everything. So, and I also have CDs. So again, I am not one of these purist people. So that was just a joke. I don't want to lose any subscribers.
You won't, dude. All right, guys. So my next one, I'm beating a dead horse because I show this album all the time. I wasn't going to show it, but I have to show it because to me, it's one of the greatest albums that people just have not heard. and it's Conditions of My Parole. There's the mustache for you, my friend. By
There
the
we go.
band Lucifer. This is Maynard James Keenan. I know some people say it's their side project, but he releases more records with this band than he does Tool. Some people think they're a joke band. They're not a joke band. I think it's because their first album had a couple risque tracks on it. But what he does is he picks an instrument. Like this album is heavy on the banjo. He picks an instrument, and the album is kind of shaped by that instrument. Now it is a rock album. The thing I'll tell you about this is he generally will use real drums and electric drums. So you have to kind of not be put off by electronic drums at times. The song Tiny Monsters, every song in this rules, but the song Tiny Monsters and the Green Valley, it really sets the tone when you listen to it. But this is one of those albums that you'd put on and just chill. I mean, you're not going to rock out to it. You just chill out. And the song Oceans and Tumbleweed that end the album, it ends it in such a perfect way. And it's the harmonies are amazing. I forget the female vocalist, but there's amazing harmonies between Maynard and the woman that sings on this album. It's just fantastic. And I'll always talk about this album because I can't get enough of it. It's one of my favorite albums. And yeah.
So it's serious music then? It's like
it's serious music, but every once in a while he ventures off into crazy things. Like he's got a song that's called The Remedy, which it's a killer. Aaron, if you said to me what's the one song by this band that Aaron would love, it'd be The Remedy. And it's a song about someone that has never been knocked out. And he goes, I have a remedy for you. Like, I'm going to punch you in the fucking mouth. That's what he says in the song. Yeah. So like, he's like, the line goes something like, you look like someone that has never been knocked the fuck out. Well, I've got your remedy right here. Right. And so every once in a while he ventures into some lyrics that are kind of like Tool, right? Like Tool sometimes ventures down. If you really look at their lyrics, like the song Eulogy is about how the people turned on Jesus Christ. That whole song is about how they love Jesus and then they turned against Jesus. So sometimes Maynard has some really serious lyrics, and then other times they're kind of off the wall. But this album is a serious album, even though it's got this crazy picture. And the reason why they have this crazy picture is the song Conditions of My Parole is about a guy getting arrested. He's drunk for public intoxication, public urination, and he's begging the judge not to lock him up because he's afraid of vampires. So something along that lines. And it's about a drunken state.
But isn't that it looks like Dolly Parton and Kenny Rogers on the front.
Yeah, he did when you'll see them in concert. So the album after is called Money Shot, and it's based around Mexican wrestlers. So when you saw them in concert, they opening act was Mexican wrestlers with the mask and everything. That for an hour we watched wrestling, and then they came out and they sang in the wrestling rink. On this tour, it was in a campfire. They had a fire, like a fake fire, but it looked real, in the middle of the stage. And there was a camper, like someone was camping, and everybody was spread out on stage. It was like they were playing outside, even though they were inside. That's the vibe you get. So every album is 100% different. It's got a different vibe. So you can't, if you listen to this album, you don't like it, go listen to another one of their albums. You might like it. But yeah, if you fall in love with it, there's a good chance you might like all of them. Money Shot's a little bit more atmospheric, but this one here is my favorite.
That whole Mexican wrestler thing has been so overdone. Like, how many bands have done albums about Mexican wrestlers? Like, can we put it to bed already?
Well, Genesis had a whole album on
exactly. Pink Floyd, Lake and Palmer had one about Mexican wrestlers.
Oh yeah.
Murray had a
nice
song cycle about Mexican.
Well, that's the thing, because the Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, that sort of overshadowed the album that followed about Mexican wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, well, I hope they have something new to say about it. I hope they have a fresh take on that whole genre. All right. Well, speaking of unusual bands, and this is a band that overall I'm not a huge fan of their discography. discography on the whole. There's a handful of albums that I like, but this is one of them. I'm going with the Flaming Lips, At War with the Mystics. Love this album. It's progressive and retro at the same time. It's got all the familiar elements of a classic Flaming Lips album, but there's a track on here where they have the most beautiful use of a mellotron. I'm a huge mellotron fan. I mean, they use the mellotron on here. There's a track on here. It's called Pompeii Am Gotterdammer. I can't even pronounce it, but it sounds like metal era Pink Floyd. It sounds a lot like One of These Days mixed with Interstellar Overdrive. It's
Nice.
like that classic sound on here. And it's just all over the map, but it's so accessible. It's weird, it's quirky, and it's great. If you like progressive rock, this is like really modern progressive rock, right down to the album artwork, but everything about it is great. Wayne Coyne is such a clever, front man, but also songwriter, and the band kicks ass on this album, and it just shows how stylistically versatile they are. But yeah, it is incredible.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned his name because I'm going to piggyback on that. This is an album called Adventure Boy by Scott Reynolds. Now, Scott Reynolds used to sing in the band All, which followed the Descendants. This is his solo record, but he did it with that guy from the Flaming Lips. So you might dig this, Jeff. It's called Scott Reynolds and the Steaming Beast.
Oh, okay.
The album's called Adventure Boy, and the song, which is one of my favorites, it's called Tracy Hardman's Cheek, and it's about young love. It's a killer song. But I believe that the guy from the Flaming Lips co-produced this with Scott Reynolds. So I just figured I'd piggyback on what you said.
Yeah, cool. I'll check that one out.
I didn't want to steal your thunder. I was just, kind of piggybacking.
No, it's good. And like I say, everything after this album I've not been into because it just seems like they go like too far out there. They're too much. It sounds too much like Metal Machine music, to me, where it's just all noise. But that album I really like a lot. That and the Soft Bulletin are my two favorite Flaming Lips, maybe my only Flaming Lips album that I really enjoy. But
well, the Flaming Lips are name dropped a lot, but I've never really listened to them before.
Mm-hmm.
They had a huge hit in the 90s, She Don't Use Jelly. I don't know if you guys remember that song, but it was a huge hit.
Mm-hmm.
MTV played the hell out of it.
Yeah.
What's it about?
She uses Vaseline. That's literally what he says in the song.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought she worked at Denny's or something. And
she uses Vaseline. That's really the lyric.
No.
Not lying.
Mexican
Never heard
wrestling.
Yeah.
Those were the days when stuff like that could get played on the radio.
Exactly. Detachable Penis. Do you remember that song?
Yeah.
Detachable.
Don't tell me the artist. King's no. Who sang that again?
Detachable Penis. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember.
King Missile.
Yeah. King Missile. There you go.
King
Nice,
Missile.
Jeff. Nice.
Good going,
Yeah,
Jeff.
great. They sang a song called "Jesus Was Way Cool."
Yeah.
And he had a mustache.
Yeah, he did. And
Jesus
this is the
did.
Tori Amos.
Do you remember what was the song? Jesus was a black man. Jesus was the Batman. That was by the Blue Mondays or Happy Mondays or something. I don't know.
Happy Mondays. Yeah.
Happy Mondays.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
I love Morrissey's song "Lifeguard Sleeping Girl Drowning."
Oh my God. He has so many great songs.
And I'm serious. It's off of Vauxhall and I, which is a great album.
Yeah, no, totally. I know. I love that one. That's same one that.
Not the more you ignore me, the closer I get.
Yeah, that one. And then he's also got that track, We Hate It When Our Friends Become Successful.
Yeah.
Like some of his some of his song titles alone are hysterical. Yeah.
You're the one for me, Fatty. I love that
Yeah.
one. I love his album, We Are the Quarry. That album
that's a great album.
So underrated. Irish Blood, English Heart is just a masterpiece. Yeah, just
I love his
fantastic.
voice. I love Morrissey's voice.
He's just an asshole, but
Yeah,
his music's great.
he
Is
could
that
sing
his
the phone
first or
book.
last?
What's that?
Morrissey is first or last name?
I think it's like
It is
Madonna.
Last name, his real name's Stephen Morrissey.
Stephen Morrissey. Yep.
Because the band I showed earlier, My Little Fun House, the two brothers, Anthony and Brendan Morrissey, are the guitarists. So I was just wondering if
Yeah, I don't think there's a relation, but if people probably wouldn't admit to being related to Morrissey. He says some stupid shit.
Yeah.
But he's got a great voice.
He's got a great voice.
And he sings about Mexican wrestlers also.
But he doesn't have a mustache.
He
No.
does not. But I have more.
We've covered all the running jokes. We didn't throw Brian Adams in there, but you know.
It's my only
Is
pop
that-
figure.
Oh,
He's Morrissey.
nice. Ooh, we should. Do you have pop figures, Jeff?
I do
No,
not.
I was gonna. We could have done a video to show our pop figures.
I only got one and done.
I have Iron Maiden, Kiss, and Metallica. Oh, and 2 Johnny Cash.
I have Kiss, and I got a whole bunch at a yard sale for 50 cents each of Game of Thrones ones. So that's what I have.
Nice.
I need to get a Pro Challenge one.
I think I have John Travolta's character from Pulp Fiction too.
Yeah, I think I have Anne Murray's pop figure.
The satanic version or the regular version?
Yeah, she's flying the devil horn. So. And nobody's watching the video now.
Enough with our self-indulgent
Well,
rant.
before Aaron goes, I'll tell you the thing I'm not proud of. When I was married and my wife would piss me off, I'd always have a King Diamond CD in the car to pop it in because that was her least favorite artist. She'd
Well,
instantly
which
know I
album
was
would it
pissed.
be?
If King Diamond went in the CD deck, she knew I was pissed.
Well, and along the line, sorry, Aaron, we always do this to Aaron before it's his turn. Talking about King Diamond, underrated album by him, The Eye. I love
The Eyes, yeah,
killer record.
great one.
Andy LaRocque on guitar. Killer. All right, Aaron, your turn.
Okay. My last one's a blues record from 2017. And you've probably seen me show this. It's a Johnny Lang with Signs.
Nice.
It's an amazing, amazing blues record. It's kind of his hardest rocking one in a way. There's one other one he did that was pretty hard rocking. But the song Make It Move, he does this falsetto singing, then he goes into this raspy, heavy singing, like, and goes back and forth. It's really cool. Got a really cool groove, almost like an R&B groove to it. And it's really killer. Then Snakes and Last Band Standing are some good rock and blues stuff. It's just an amazing record. Bring Me Back Home, Into the Light, Wisdom. It's just, he's just such a great singer and such a great songwriter and guitarist. If you don't know Johnny Lang, he's like by far my favorite blues artist. And his first album he put out when he was like 15. Been going and going, but this album here, he only has 2 albums out on vinyl, and I have them both. But he needs the rest on vinyl.
He's kind of picked up Stevie Ray Vaughan's mantle and carried it on.
Kind of, yeah. He's from Fargo, North Dakota. And it's funny. I sent this record to Isaac at Blind Island. Turns out he's related to him.
Wow.
And I kind of have a resemblance too.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. And I might have just sent this to somebody else, so they don't know they're getting it yet.
Surprise, Josh.
Guys, it's somebody else. But yeah, this is just such an amazing record. Have you guys ever heard Johnny Lang much?
Yes, and I haven't heard that record. I heard his earlier stuff, and he's fantastic.
Yeah, he just keeps getting better and better and evolving. And it's just, he's got some almost heavy stuff in this, and then he's got his quieter, introspective songs too. That he has that killer falsetto singing, but it's just an amazing, amazing record. Bring Me Back Home. I just love that song. It's amazing. But Make It Move, it just starts out with such a bang with that song. I'd recommend those 2 probably. But every song on it's good. Love that album.
Cool.
So I didn't go too over metal this time.
Great.
I was gonna clutch, but I figured I've done that so much.
Yeah, I was thinking you're gonna pull a sweet
Yeah.
album out.
I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
I got Sweet FA in the mail. It's coming in,
Yes.
guys.
Nice.
Can't wait.
All right.
I want to talk about Led Zeppelin 4.
Is that good?
Have
I
you
heard
ever
good
heard
things
this
about that
album
one.
before?
I'm
know.
thinking.
What
All right. No,
would I
seriously.
know off that album?
Yeah, I was trying to think of something funny to say, but I can't think of anything.
That's been that was like in the cutout bins all the time. Popular.
Well, okay, and this next band, I mean, people have heard about this band, but I don't really hear them talked about that often. Fight. Okay, so here's the thing. Anybody out there, you might not know, I know these guys know, but Rob Halford, of course, the lead singer of Judas Priest, after he left Priest, he formed this band called Fight. This is their second album released in 1995. Now, I almost feel like this is heavier than Priest in some way because it's got more of a grunge sound to it. Heavy, heavy guitars. The guitar tone is different. Halford still sings amazing on this album. He doesn't scream as much as he would with Priest. And a lot of people go to the first Fight album, but I think Small Deadly Space is as good. There's a little bit of a groove to these songs, so it's a heavy groove. And I want to point out the one of my favorite songs on this album is the last song. It's called "In a World of My Own Making," and it's a ballad. It's got this piano in it, and this is not a joke. It does sound like a Tori Amos song. There's just the piano in it. Rob Halford sings it beautifully. I mean, this guy can sing, not just scream. But then it breaks in, there's this midsection to the song where it breaks into this doom thing. And it's just, so that's what's cool about this album. It's all over the place. You hear a little bit of grunge, you hear some groove, you hear some heavy distortion, a piano ballad, some doom stuff. So really, really killer album. If you like Halford, check out Fight. Now, the band he came out with after this, I think, oh, there we go. Yeah, this is the Record Store Today one. Was called Two, I want to say, right? Didn't he have Two? That was more industrial. And I don't know, I haven't really listened to a lot of that yet, but this is more akin to like what Judas Priest was doing. So yeah, I would definitely check this out. And it's funny, I don't think a lot of people know about Fight. I mean, we all do because we're music geeks, but a lot of people might not, know about Fight. So I would definitely check this album out. I mean, you guys know this album too, so.
Yeah, it's a great one. And I'll tell you that Halford, he did those two Fight records. Then, like you said, he did the industrial album, but then he had a kick-ass solo album too.
Right.
I saw him on that tour. He sounded fantastic. But yeah, those Fight
Resurrection
albums,
or something like that, right?
Yep. Those
Chris,
Fight albums
does that piano ballad hold a candle to How Many Say I?
You lost me. What's How Many I Say I?
How Many Say I from Van Halen 3?
I don't know. I don't know that.
I'm not a fan of that song. I'm going to let you know that right now.
And obviously I don't know the song, so.
You don't want to know it.
Yeah.
In some ways, it's considered the worst Van Halen song.
It is similar to Misty Mountain Hop, though.
No.
And all kidding aside, this is a great album. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
Yes, do we hear the songs on the radio all the time? But there's a reason why. This is a killer record.
Misty Mountain Hop's my favorite on that. I love that song. And when the levee breaks, yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Yes. And that's all I'm going to say because I don't want to get into a big Led Zeppelin discussion. But
Well, I'm sorry, Josh, I stole your thunder because I know Van Halen 3 was probably your fifth pick.
It's not. And I love Gary Cherone. I like Extreme. I really do. But I have a hard time with that record. And I know some people love it. It's just not for me. All right. So my next pick is a recent album. It's in the last 10 years. And a lot of people, the older you get, the more you don't listen to new music. Not us necessarily, but some people will come up to me and be like, oh, there hasn't been a good rock band in the last 10 years. And I'm like, what bands do you like? And they're like, oh, Fleetwood Mac or this or that. Here's an amazing band, and they're called Lord Huron. And this is probably their best album, Strange Trails. And I have no doubt, Jeff, that if you go and listen to The Night We Met, you will fall in love with this album. It's just a heartbreaking song. about someone that wishes they could go back to the night they met the person so they didn't travel along with them, because they're so brokenhearted. And the chorus goes, I had all of you, then some of you, most of you, now none of you. And it's
Wow.
just, it's heartbreaking.
I
But
need that.
it's got elements of Springsteen. It's very, to me, if this was released in the 80s, it would have been a huge hit. Now, it's not like 80s rock, like, Sweet FA or Slaughter, or like, it's more or less straight up rock, like a lot of acoustic guitars mixed with electric guitars. You can see it's just a 4-piece band, stand-up bass, just elements of just 4 guys, electric instruments, singer-songwriter, but not folk. It's just great. And it's got an amazing album cover. I have the Newberry Comics exclusive, which is like this amazing looking album, but this is still in print. So anybody that's looking to get it, but if you said to me, what's the one song I should go listen to? I would say The Night We Met. Even though that's their ballad, it's a really great song, and gives you an idea of the type of music that they're singing. So
I just added that to my Spotify.
yeah, I mean, if you've
sorry,
been
you can go.
heartbroken in your life, you'll resonate with that song.
I have.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, Jeff, that reminds me, what song were you talking about with that band about the lost love? What song was that?
Oh, Eels. Yeah.
The
I'm going to
Eels,
stop
yeah.
pretending that I didn't break your heart.
Yeah, I got to add that too.
I
This
love
was
that.
from the opposite perspective. This is someone that is heartbroken, and he's sitting there and he's like, take me back to the night we met. So I know what the hell to do, like I know not to travel along with you. But at the same time, he's still saying that he loves her by saying, I had all of you, then some of you, then most of you, then none of you, something along that lines. Take me back to the night we met. And it's just beautiful. And you can look, it's got a real retro album cover.
I love
It's
that
really
cover.
cool.
Love
Yeah,
it.
these guys are really, really cool. Amazing. And nobody knows them, and everybody should.
Yeah, it looks like a Pulp Fiction album cover. I'd buy it on the cover, strength of the cover alone. That's really cool.
Yeah, and you probably get it pretty cheap. It's not like they're a huge band, so they're not overpricing their stuff. And totally recommend it.
Now, how do you hear about these bands, Josh? Because like you show bands and I'm like, and then I listen to them like, oh my God, these guys are kick ass. But like, I wouldn't have known about them if like Lucero, like how did you hear about Lucero?
Well, so first off, going into record stores is a big thing, right? And talking to people there. But a lot of times what I do is I Google things like bands, modern bands like Warren Zevon, or modern bands like this, and then people will give you recommendations. A lot of times they're on message boards and things like that. But a lot of times it's just going down a rabbit hole. So what I will do is I will find a band, a modern band that is somewhat popular. Like let's say, if Lord Huron, you type them into Apple Music, it gives you suggestions.
Right.
Down the bottom of Apple Music is $10 a month. It's the best investment you could have. And then you go down to the suggestions on the bottom. And what I'll do is I'll listen to the top 3 stream songs by an artist and see if any of them catch me. And then if they don't, I move on. If I do like it, I'll put them into a mix and I keep listening to it. And then if I really love it, I'll go buy the record, because I know that we can't all afford to go buy crazy amounts of record. But that's how I discover these bands. But to me, it's really about the lyrics. And when I want to rock out, a lot of times I'm going into the 80s, just because that's what my generation, the 80s and 90s, right? And I gravitate to that music. But it's a perfect example is the Dead Daisies. I learned that from you guys, and then I love it. It's like right up my alley.
Well, I tell you right now, I have a feeling I'll be buying that Lake Huron album.
Yeah, you will love it, my friend. You will absolutely love it.
Oh man, I really don't need any more records to buy.
Yeah.
All right, well.
All right, well, to wrap things up, I am going to go with and you're not going to believe me, but the punk band. And I'm talking about the Hives.
Wow, nice.
I don't know if anybody is familiar with the Hives, but It's like early 60s Shel Talmy, Kinks, early Who mixed with total punk rock. And yeah, it's got a retro feel to it, like an early 60s retro feel, but also, you know, Clash, Sex Pistols, you know, probably Black Flag, I would imagine, but it's very intense, but stylistically, it's really different, really finely crafted songs. And they're all short. I mean, there are 12 songs on here, but you know, probably none of them are more than 3 minutes long. But it's very cool. I think they're still around. This is their second album. It's called Tyrannosaurus Hives. But yeah, very cool. I mean, and they've got definitely, you know, their gimmick. I mean, they all dress alike, and they've kind of got like their, you know, I don't know, retro thing going on, but very cool. You know, I can't wait to play some of it when we do our sound samples, but you know, one of the heaviest things one of the most punk albums that I own. So
I feel like they came up around the same time as like the Strokes, right?
yes, yep.
Strokes are so good. Their new album is good as well.
Mm-hmm.
But
And
you
the
mentioned
singer
Black
of the
Flag.
Strokes did a solo album, which was great too.
Yeah. Well, I see, and you mentioned, see, now I got to talk about Black Flag for a second. I have Loose Nut, Josh and Aaron have Loose Nut. We got to get, you don't have Loose Nut, right, Jeff? Black Flag? No. So we got to get him that, and then we should just do a video on that album.
Yes. Absolutely.
Discuss every track, have like a half a person watch it.
Slip it in. I go for that one.
What'd
I
you say?
love that. Slip it in or my war. A little bit.
I love slipping in. Yeah.
What? And I have to point out the mustache here
Yeah.
Yeah.
on this
He
guy.
looks a little angry.
I think he's wearing a Bryan Adams t-shirt too.
He might be underneath a suit. Yeah, he could be.
Yeah. I saw Bryan Adams open for Def Leppard.
Did you?
Nice.
Yeah, it was a great show.
And
I
at
have
the
to tell
beginning,
you
they
that.
say,
Yeah.
"Hi, we're Johnny Cash."
Hello, I'm Johnny Cash. Yeah, I'm telling you right now, this album, Bill Callahan, buy this record.
Yeah, I can't imagine not buying that record.
If you like Leonard Cohen and Tom Waits, get the record.
I'm gonna love it. I have no doubt.
Yes. Oh, and Walter Egan, yes. If you like Scorpions era Virgin Killer.
That album's so good. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
It's so good.
yeah. So many great album covers too. Every single album cover that we've shown, with the exception of some of my early ones that were white and not very interesting, but all the ones that you guys showed are fantastic. Absolutely. So, so we are break this video off, and then the next video is going to be where we're showing, you can actually hear all of the fantastic music that we just got done talking about. So definitely check that video out next if any of you are still watching. And thanks again, guys.
This is when we show how cool our record collection is.
Yeah, woo.
Woo, look at me. I'm so cool.